Hello and welcome to this National Fostering Group virtual event. I'm Helen, and today we're going to be joined by Destiny, a former looked after child who is now 18 years old and taking steps to live independently and hopes to study law in the future. So let's meet Destiny.
Hi.
Hi Destiny, thank you so much for joining us today. It's really lovely to meet you. So there's lots of people watching today who'd love to find out more about fostering. And we really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about your experiences as a child, a young person, and now an adult who's been in foster care. So I mentioned briefly that you're now 18 and you live in continued care. Tell us a little bit about your life now. Your living arrangements, your studies, your hobbies. Tell us about what you're up to.
So I stayed put with my carers while I was finishing up my A-levels, and in a few months hope to go to university, study law with criminology, because it's been a main interest. I study-wise, that's my studies. I do A-levels. I've got like 2 weeks left, which is amazing. Never thought I'd do them, but I did them and seem to be getting good grades. Hobby-wise, I don't know, I like working out. I'm a very fitness freak. I love my diet, like focusing on nutrition and myself, and reading, and then binge watching Netflix, I guess. I love to binge watch Netflix.
So we all. Brilliant. You've got loads of fun and positivity in your life. It sounds brilliant. But going back to when you first came into care, Destiny, can you tell us a little bit about that?
I don't remember first coming into care because I was a baby. I was 10 months old, but what I do first remember of one of my carers when I was about 6, when I moved to them, it was a difficult process, but I was with my brother at the time, so it was easier to be with him. That's what I remember. I think for me, I found it really difficult because I was a kid. I didn't have my own mother with me, so I think for future people who would like to foster, I think it's nice to be open and act like if they're part of your family. I know that can go against guidelines for fostering agencies and stuff, or foster, whatever. But I think that treating children part of your family, I think that was one big thing for me. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you are treated like that as part of the family, how does that make you feel, Destiny?
I think that made me feel wanted, I guess, because obviously being a foster child, you're not with your own parents, you're not with your own family, and so it made you feel like you were a human being and not some number that a social worker comes to visit sometimes because they've got so many kids on their load. I think it felt that you're in a home 24/7, so you needed to feel like part of a family and not that you've just been placed there. And I think that was really nice.
That you're important and you're cared for. Absolutely. And is there anything that a foster family have done or said to welcome you into their home that particularly stands out for you?
I've got some funny stories, but I think just being over jolly, I think that stays with you for a long time. I mean, the carers I'm with now, they're basically my parents, and I remember the first thing that he ever said to my dad ever said to me, foster dad ever, he said, "Oh, you're right, Gladys," in a very cheery voice, and that was really funny. I was 10, like I had no idea who this man was sitting in my ex-carer's kitchen, and he was so open and lovely, and they're not shying away, they were literally facing up to me, which was really, really nice, because I've been with people who shy away because they don't know how to talk to you, but they face the problem-ish. I'm not a problem, but face the child more like, and then it's more relaxed.
And it was a nice, warm and open welcome.
Oh yeah, 100%. It stays with me today. We laugh about it now, but yeah, a nice, warm and open welcome. Yeah, that's really, really stuck with me.
And thinking about, memories and moments that have stayed with you, are there any other, particular memories that really stick out?
Do you know, I would never expect foster carers to take foster children on holiday, but both the two that I've had in the last 10 years, they both took me on holiday. I went on my first plane when I was like 12, which was really nice with my current parents. But it's going away on holiday. For me, that's such a big thing because I'd never really been on holiday before that. But you wouldn't expect foster carers to take kids on holiday. You'd expect them to go off to respite, and that's what happened to me a lot. And then when I first got taken on holiday, it was such an amazing memory because I now have so many holiday memories, and it's so amazing. Even though I'm not with my own parents, it just felt like a normal life. Like, you could join in with all the other kids and be like, oh yeah, I went this place and I went that place, and it was really, really nice. Really, really nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's one of my
beautiful.
best memories.
And talking about, as you say, you know, talking to other kids and your friends, did you tell anyone that you were in foster care? Did you tell your friends? Did they know?
Uh, there's such a superstition about foster kids. It's actually unreal. Sometimes I did. Sometimes it got slipped out by teachers. You know, you've got your pet later. Oh, what's your pet? Well, this is why I have my pet. This is what it is. So, it it's difficult to make friends knowing when you're younger, I think, because they think there's such a superstition about it. And talking, I've bumped into people in the last year who have said, oh, kids in care are unwanted, and they're, you know, and I think that's a superstition that people need to break, because no, we're not. Our parents made up the mistake, and then we're paying for it, and that's where I think there isn't enough sympathy towards kids in care. So yeah, I did tell people, but it's only really gone down well like once or twice. The rest, everyone stands off and was like, oh, or they ask if I'm adopted and not fostered. They're like, oh, so you're adopted then? No, I'm not adopted. I've got way more people involved for that to be adoption. So yeah,
So
that's basically it with the people.
Well, there is still, as you say, there can be stigma attached to it, and also there can be some lack of understanding. Do you find that people do have a good understanding of what fostering is in general?
Oh, in general, not particularly, unless you're involved in that line of work. I think from a stand-off point of view, I think people automatically associate it with adoption, or people associate that the kids are troublesome and so their parents couldn't handle them, or along those lines. But there's so many deeper reasons why children have been put into care, and people don't understand that because I don't think people want to open up their minds to other trauma or bad things that have happened to kids. I just don't think they can comprehend it sometimes, and that's why you need strong people to be able to do this line of work. Otherwise, you won't be able to cope.
Yeah, and to spread awareness, which is exactly what you're doing now, you know, to educate and spread awareness to other people. And going back to your friends and, you know, your peers at school, did you know any other looked after children, Destiny? Did you have any other friends who were looked after?
Briefly, like I went more to like gatherings of other foster children, and then I kind of made friends there, kind of didn't. But in schools, actually, there wasn't that many. I was around maybe 2 in my old school, in my secondary school. I was around like 2 or 3 extra foster children in my year, so I wasn't really around any per se, because we don't really like to shout about it because people don't really understand how to react to you. They do either give you too much sympathy and pity, or they just super mean. So we just kind of leave it at that. So yeah, I do have some friends still from old placements and gatherings I've done, which is really nice. We do keep in contact, but it gets really difficult because life takes over and we can't really keep in contact. So yeah, we do keep in contact. I do have some friends, but it's what it is.
And of course, the last year's been a bit odd as well, hasn't it?
A nightmare. Nightmare.
For keeping in contact with people. But going back to your foster carers, Destiny, thinking about your foster carers, what would you say are the most important things to you about them?
Oh, there's so many different things. The most important thing for me is that I think they treat me like their own. They call me their daughter. It took them ages, obviously, because you didn't know how long I was going to be around for, but they did eventually start calling me their daughter. And yeah, and I've got siblings, so I only had one brother before I came to this placement. I'm no longer with him, but I now have 5 other siblings, because I've been so part of this family that they have become my family, and they've been so open and honest and not shy from discussing subjects with me. They're just been amazing, and they stood by me through so much. So I think that is what I care most about these carers that I've got currently.
And as you say, when they started calling you their daughter, how did that feel, Destiny?
I think I was really taken aback, because it was like, I've never had anyone call me that. And I got used to it, and now I'm their daughter. Like, yeah, it's really nice to say, because I'm a part of something other than, you know, the government, basically, because of fostering. I'm part of a family, which is really, really nice. It may not be blood, but blood isn't family. So, yeah. It's really nice.
Obviously you're a young adult now, Destiny, but thinking back to when you were younger and in foster care, what were some of the things that you enjoyed doing with your foster family? Can you remember, days out and fun times that you had?
Well, I used to go to the National Trust a lot. Because I was one of those kids that had to climb trees, I had to run around, I had to go to fields. So it was just ideal. And I was interested in history and the historics of buildings and architecture. So we went there a lot, so I could just let loose and have a really fun day out, which was really good.
Brilliant.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so you've got lots of fun memories. That's brilliant. Reflecting on, once again, what you just talked about, this really important time that you've had with your foster family, where you've really felt like part of their family, you've become their family. How do you think that shaped your life, Destiny?
I think without being in foster care, I definitely wouldn't be the person I am today. I'm way stronger than I ever thought I was, and I don't think I ever would have got into uni and going to uni without the experiences I've been through, because you take those opportunities for what they are instead of for granted. So I know some people take it for granted, like that's what you do, but for me, I never really thought that was an option. But I made those opportunities for myself, and some of them were given to me, which was really, really good. And I think it shaped my life, because I think it shaped my life because other people don't see the importance of they take it all for granted, as I said, and I haven't. I've really, really worked so hard, and that would never have happened unless I had as many social workers as I had, as carers I had, or dealing with past traumas, or dealing with any of that. I would never have been the strength I am today without any of those, and I never would have had the drive and the persistence to do anything without what I've been through. So I think that's how it shaped my life, to be honest. It's really, really shaped where I want to go and what I want to do. Which is really, really
you're
good.
on such a positive platform now for the future. What would you say your hopes are for the future? We talked a bit about your education and stuff, but where do you see yourself being in 10 years?
Oh, in 10 years, there's a few routes that I'm looking at going down. I either train down the path of a solicitor or a barrister, or I join the CID unit in the police force, and I'm a detective in that. So yeah, I've got 2 options basically. So either one, I'm really excited. Or either want to go down the criminology side of things or the law side of things. Hence why I'm taking law with criminology, so I can see which one I enjoy more. Yeah, so I've kind of got basically, I want to go into the line of work where I'm helping other people, or helping children, or helping families, because I think there's more families out there that need helping than this.
And your own journey has probably brought you to that, hasn't it? To want to help other people.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
And if there was anybody watching now, Destiny, who was maybe thinking about becoming a foster carer, but they were sort of on the fence, they weren't really sure, with your experience and how it shaped your life, what would you say to those people?
I think for any future or thinking about if you're going to become a foster carer, you need to be thick-skinned. You need to be aware that you're gonna have some random children walk through your door, and you have no idea what's going to hit you. You have no idea what traumas they're going to have experienced. You're going to have no idea how deeply affected they are by certain situations, and they will likely open up about and disclose about what's happened to them if it's in that scenario. And you need to be thick-skinned and realize that it's a 24/7 job, if not more, because they're not like your average child. They're not like your children, or children, your nephews, or granddaughters, nieces. It's not like that. It's a lot more complicated, and you have to have a lot more patience and a lot more routine in some of the children, because they've never had any of that, and they likely have never been taught the simplicities of how to eat properly, how to go to the bathroom properly, and how to do any of those. So I think you have to be really thick-skinned. But I think at the end of it, it's very rewarding, because I've seen many kids who carers have helped, and they are absolutely unrecognisable within 6 months periods. So I think it's a very rewarding job, 100%. But I also think you need to be really thick-skinned.
But it's definitely worth it. And as you can see from yourself, you know, the journey that you've been on and how your foster carers have helped shape your life, you know, it's definitely worth it, isn't it, Destiny?
Yeah, it is. It took me a while to get my head around that, but it is very worth it. And they are very pleased with my outcome, because it never thought I'd get this far at all. So yeah, it's been amazing, absolutely amazing.
Well, Destiny, it's been wonderful to meet you and hear about your life story really so far, and best of luck with the future. I'm so excited for you. You've got so much opportunity ahead of you. So thank you so much, and good luck, Destiny.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much to you for watching. Please do join us again soon for another National Fostering Group virtual event. Bye.